Hello everyone, my name is Lori Bradner and I'm with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are celebrating a fantastic day at the 43rd Annual Sun and Fun. And of course the Florida Aviation Network is broadcasting live and in the clear from the Aerospace Discovery, which is located at the Florida Air Museum. Please come see us and stop by if you're here. And I have to tell you, I have the best job in the entire world because I get to meet the most interesting, fantastic individuals, and I get just a private audience with you. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Joe Karabensh. Joe, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
It's lovely to be here. And you are president now of a company that's near and dear to my heart, and I've known about them, and you are Missionary Flights International, and you're the president of the organization. Would you tell, because there may be some viewers that don't know a thing about what you do, what is Missionary Flights International? What do you do?
Well, Missionary Flights International is a nonprofit organization that supplies transportation to about 480 different Christian mission organizations that are in the Caribbean. Our primary focus is Haiti.
Okay.
We use Douglas DC-3s to do this, and our mission statement is to spread the good news of Jesus Christ in partnership with Bible-centered missions by providing, 1, reliable transportation, and 2, logistical services, which could be anything.
Right.
And so these folks working in Haiti just have really not the connections, the supplies that they need, and so we're based in Florida, in Fort Pierce, Florida, on the east coast of Florida. It's about an hour north of West Palm Beach, and we fly every week, about an average of 3 to 4 flights down to Haiti. We've been operating for 53 years.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
53 years. Operated down in West Palm Beach for 42.
Okay.
And then moved up to Fort Pierce back in 2006.
Still flying the same aircraft? How has the aircraft changed?
Well, they did start differently.
Okay.
Small single engine plane back in the early years by our founder, Don Belden, who flew to the Bahamas to bring to lead Youth for Christ rallies, and the missionaries over there kept asking him, hey, next time you come, can you bring this or can you bring that? And so that's really what birthed MFI.
Okay.
Then when it was incorporated back in '64, the board looked to see where the most concentration of Christian mission work and where was the greatest need. Now Haiti is the poorest country in the whole Western Hemisphere. Wow. And so that's where we started focusing flying. We started flying bigger aircraft, some Beech 18s, and then the DC-3s we've been flying since the early 70s.
Okay.
But
you probably needed to because of the amount of equipment and things that they needed.
Yes.
So it was birthed out of me. Okay.
And then currently we fly turboprop DC-3s, so they've been converted to have the modern PT6 engines on.
Okay. Now I have to ask you, how did you? It's been around 53 years. I know you're not that old. So how did you get involved? How did you get involved with the Missionary Flight International?
Well,
what inspired you?
When I was young, I got involved with our church group that went down to Mexico. I was living in California, and we went down for Easter break to help with lead Vacation Bible School. I learned about working and visiting a third world country. Yeah. And I really felt a burden to help folks, but I didn't see myself as a preacher or someone like that, but I worked on cars, I enjoyed mechanical things. Okay. And so I finally eventually heard about missionary aviation, where you could be a pilot, mechanic, and you can also help these folks in these third world countries. And so I went through college, got a degree from a Christian college in California, then applied to Moody Bible Institute, where they train mechanics and pilots to go overseas. And so I got that training, and then I had gotten married. We moved to Massachusetts, where my wife was from, and just the doors didn't open right away. But then I started flying I did some flight instruction, and then I started flying for a company called Cape Air, which if you guys have ever watched that show on TV called Wings. Yeah.
Yes, I grew up on that show. Tell me, is there a relationship there?
I'm the original Joe.
Are you?
Yeah. He's the main character. But no, seriously, for 3 years I flew for them in and out of Nantucket Island and up to Boston and got some good experience. But finally, flying those twin engines there, really got me prepared to fly the twin-engine DC-3s, and been at MFI since 1996.
Really? Now, how long have you served as president? Where did you start, and how did you get to that role as president?
Well, I never thought I'd be president. When I went there, it was a small organization. You know, even now we have 25 people working there.
Okay.
A lot of volunteers that help out, so we're
Right.
thankful for them. But when I went, I came as a mechanic and pilot. All of our pilots are also mechanics.
Okay.
And after about 6 months, our warehouse manager retired, and the president asked me to come and help temporarily man the warehouse. And so I said, sure, I can do that. I still fly when I did the flights, but during the time when I wasn't flying, I wasn't working on the planes, I was going to manage the warehouse.
Right.
And then when we did get a warehouse manager, I then was asked to move into the office to be the executive assistant to assist the president.
Okay.
Just because of things that they saw, some gifts I had, organizational things. And then a few years later, I became the vice president. I was vice president for about 14 years.
Okay.
And then 2 years ago, I became president.
What an honor.
Yes, it
What
is.
an
We have a
honor.
great team, and I'm excited to be a part of what we're doing.
Now, let me ask you a question. Where do you see, what is the future? What are the short-term and the long-term goals of your organization? Where do you see your organization in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Obviously, something like this, the need is, sadly, the need is always going to be there, and it's not getting smaller. The needs are becoming greater, and I guess that's the way you would say that. But where do you see your organization in the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, it has been growing. When I started at MFI, there was 150 organizations that we served.
Okay.
And then when the earthquake hit back in 2010, a big kind of a life-changing event there in Haiti,
I remember that.
we had 250 organizations. So in those 14 years, from 96 to 2010, we grew 100 organizations. But since then, we've almost doubled. With that work we did at the earthquake, God just brought together many organizations and airplanes and teams that we just really had a fantastic effect on the country with that earthquake relief work.
Okay.
But many people heard about us, and we get new organizations every month. And so now we're serving about 480 organizations, and we continue to see that growing.
Wow.
And so we fly about 3,000 people every year, doing short-term projects, working on construction, on roofs, building orphanages, medical teams going down to do surgeries. We fly them actually into the country, landing on grass airstrips to remote hospitals. And so it's exciting. And also, it's about half people and half cargo. So we fly actually about 750,000 pounds of baggage and cargo each year with our planes. So
Okay.
we're looking to expand. We've got a third plane, third DC-3, turboprop DC-3 that should be arriving next month.
Okay.
But once we get it, there'll be about a year's worth of work.
Okay.
It was donated to us
I was going to ask, where did you get it?
2 years ago.
Okay.
But it didn't have any engines.
That's a problem.
It didn't have any radios.
Okay, that's another
Didn't
problem.
have any gauges or instruments.
Okay.
And the wings were off of it. And it was located halfway around the world in South Africa.
Okay.
In the last 2 years, we've raised funds to pay off the liens that were against it. See, it was donated, but it also had some liens against it.
Okay.
We've purchased engines. We've installed the engines. We've got a radio package in it so it can ferry it back to the U.S., and we hope to do it next month.
Wow.
We're going to fly it up from South Africa to West Africa, then over to the Cape Verde Islands,
Okay.
and then down to Brazil. We have enough fuel in all 6 tanks when we fill up to fly 3/4 of the way across the Atlantic, which is a problem.
Yeah.
So we've installed another 500-gallon tank inside the cabin
To get you.
so we can open the valves halfway across and have the fuel drain out by gravity to the wings and continue flying. So that's the plan.
That's the plan.
And then come up through the Caribbean to Florida. So.
Now, I have to ask you a question. With your new role as president, do you get to do much of the flying anymore, or?
Not as much, no.
Okay.
I don't do a whole lot of flying anymore. There's so much, I feel, work to be done administratively, working with donors, building those relationships, and planning. You talked about plans.
Right.
With our plans not only to expand in Haiti and the work that we're doing there, we do go to the Dominican Republic every other week. We go into the Bahamas, but we're looking to expand to Cuba and Central America. Last April, I took a small plane into Cuba. They had opened it up to private planes.
I was going to ask.
We talked with government officials and airport officials about, hey, can we bring our DC-3s in? And we got the open door. But soon after that, that's when they opened it up to commercial airliners. And so people are traveling back and forth then. Now, the problem for us is we bring a lot of cargo to Haiti, we'd like to bring stuff to Cuba, but both our government and the Cuban government don't really have a good plan for that. So we have the embargo going, and then the Cuban, being communist, won't let us just bring in stuff and give it to people.
Give it to people. Who does the interfacing with the governments and to do the negotiation when you go in? Because some of these countries that you're going into are relatively closed countries. So who does that negotiation? Is that you now as the president, or again?
Well, it was for Cuba. Yeah, for Cuba, we went down there and we really got the okay as far as the bringing teams in to help.
Okay.
But as far as the supplies, you know, we've been told that, well, if you bring in, let's say, 10,000 Bibles, you know, you can keep 6,000, but we want to give 4,000 to whoever we want to. But it's not anything written down, or, you know, and we're just a little leery of that. We do have plans to bring in some supplies. There's one organization that has been going to Cuba for a long time, and I don't even know what the shipment is, but they're working on to get approval from our government, because again, we have an embargo and there's certain things that we can't bring there. So if it's on a list of what we can bring, they'll approve it, but it takes months. And then once we get that approved, we're going to work with getting it approved to go to Cuba.
That's amazing.
But you know, Haiti, we've been going for decades, so that's no problem. The Dominican, it's not an issue. We just follow the rules of customs and duty and filling out paperwork. But Cuba's a whole different ballpark.
And it's relatively new as well, which is a good thing. Let me ask you, what was it that inspired you in the first place to get into aviation? You have such a passion for it. Why aviation?
Well, I don't know if it's just the whole thing of mechanical things, you know. I mean, I went to air shows when I was a kid. I loved the airplanes.
So something like Sun and Fun, you got to see it.
Out in California, Moffett Field had air shows, and I just enjoyed it. I had a little model airplane. I made model airplanes. But the thing for me getting involved, I think there was two things that were connected. My passions was aviation and mechanical things, but also helping people and trying to reach people to meet their needs, not only the physical need, but their spiritual need, to teach them about who Jesus is.
Yeah, that is remarkable. Now, let me ask you, this is not your first time at Sun and Fun. How long have you been coming to Sun and Fun?
I think this is our 4th visit.
I was going to say, because I remember it being here, and I know that I believe you've talked to students at CFAA. If I'm correct, did you have an opportunity?
Oh, yeah, actually, I just gave a talk and had to run over here.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was an opportunity for a forum to talk about, and I'll be there tomorrow in room 12 at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m.
We also have an airplane here. We brought our Turbine DC-3 here, so it's out on the flight line there.
Now, can people, is it something that they can go in?
Yeah, but not up.
Not up, okay.
Well, they can go up to the cockpit,
but they can't, you're not taking, they can't get rides.
Correct. But
all right,
it's the DC-3 out there next to the bigger planes, so no cost, come on in, talk to our pilots. If you do want to go for a ride, every spring, the first Saturday of March, at our headquarters in Fort Pierce, we give plane rides and free lunches, and there's a donation for a plane ride, but it's a long ways away, March, but every March, the first Saturday.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that there are people that what a wonderful experience, and if they've not been in that aircraft, that is a wonderful aircraft. What a great experience that would be for them. Now, so do you have any more forums today that you were doing, or are you free?
Not today.
Not today. So after this, you're free. You get to go have fun.
Yes.
But tomorrow, a forum over at CFAA. And then what about Sunday? Are you doing anything Sunday? Are you speaking at all on Sunday?
At a particular, I think it's called Heritage Baptist Church.
Heritage Baptist. I know people that go there. Fantastic. So you're going to be a guest speaker there.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. So people at least have a few opportunities to meet you in person and hear your story.
And come out to our plane.
And come out to the plane.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, Joe, you're an inspiration. Thank you for being here
You're welcome.
today. We would encourage everyone, please, if you will, go see the plane, go talk to the pilots, find out more about this wonderful, wonderful mission that they do, not only to help people, as you said, physically, but to help them spiritually and emotionally. Thank you for that. Thank you for, you talk about paying it forward. Yeah. You definitely do each and every day, and thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not miss all of our forums. You can go online, check out sunandfun.org. You will see all of the forums listed. Please do not miss them. Joe, thank you again for taking your afternoon to spend it with us at Florida Aviation Network. It's always a joy.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And it's awesome. And my name is Lori Bradner. I'm with Florida Aviation Network, and we are broadcasting live and in the clear from the Aerospace Discovery at the Florida Air Museum. Please do not miss the 43rd Annual Sun and Fun. It is absolutely, we've got gorgeous weather, and I guarantee you, you will have a fantastic time. Again, I'm Lori Bradner with Florida Aviation Network.